So we are now here into late June on the season, and Mitch Keller has unfortunately put up two just absolute stinker of starts. I mean, not going deep into games, walking guys, giving up runs, not great. So we're just deciding two and done for now. He's going to go back down to AAA Louisville, and calling up from Louisville is going to be the right-hander Jarrett Ross. He was a pick of ours in the 2022 draft. One of the best pitchers in all of AA last season, and he has been solid in AAA this year. He will be coming up to the big leagues, and he will be wearing number 55 here for the Reds. While another transaction we made was Josh James as being sent down to AAA Louisville, and taking his place in the bullpen is going to be the right-hander Seth Elledge, who's coming back up to Cincinnati for another stint. And then just some updates on some of our players. Tyler Stevenson has been phenomenal this season. I'm very impressed with what he's been doing at the plate for us. An 885 OPS for him so far this year, while Taylor Walls continues to be great as well, playing phenomenal defense and hitting the ball this year. Has his OPS up to 793, which is honestly higher than I ever thought he would get it. Big part of that is his 372 on-base percentage. And then you also have Adrian Merced, who's starting to heat up as well. He's got his average above 300 and a 381 OBP. Got a 784 OPS, very solid, up in the big leagues for him right now. While Robbie Grossman has not been solid. He's been stinking up the joints. OPS has dropped all the way down to 711. He's also just not getting on base, which is the entire point of having him, so not really great to see there. While Jonathan India has also been very disappointing here in the big leagues this season. So if we take a look, we are going to make a couple lineup changes, as both Adrian Merced and Elly De La Cruz are being moved to the top of the order. Merced will now be leading off, and then Elly De La Cruz is now in the 2-hole. And since we are able to take on this Pittsburgh Pirates team, let's take a look at what their roster looks like as of right now. So there you have their roster in front of you. Just a lot of young talent on this team. That's the theme with the Pirates. They could be a team that is going to turn things around here in the next couple seasons if they play their cards right and if they actually, don't trade these guys away for no reason. One of the big ones is O'Neal Cruz, the 6'7" shortstop. He's been up playing shortstop every day for them for the duration of this series, and he has been getting better as the years go on. Been very solid this year, career best year so far, so that's good to see for them. They've also got Henry Davis, a potential catcher who's now their everyday catcher. Leover, I believe is how you say that, Peguero, a potential infielder, and then also Nick Gonzalez, another a potential infielder up with the big league team. They also have a little bit of an interesting rotation. They have Jordan Hicks, who they signed in the offseason, and they have Ryan Yarbrough, who they traded for from the Tampa Bay Rays for Harold Castro, I believe it was last season. And then they also have a couple top prospects in there in Quinn Priester and Anthony Solometo, who we saw last year in the AAA minor league update. He completely shut down our AAA club. Well, if we take a look at Jordan Hicks, they signed him this previous offseason to a 3-year deal, which I'm not really sure why they did, other than he's just a decent overall and he throws hard, because he's really should not be a starter. He's been awful this year for them, and he was awful last year for the Cardinals. He was okay in 2022, but really what it comes down to is he just walks way too many people to ever be a reliable starting pitcher. Here at Great American Ballpark, the Cincinnati Reds will be playing host to the Pittsburgh Pirates here in an NL Central matchup. It's just some random woman throwing out the first pitch wearing Uggs for whatever reason. And making his Major League debut here for the Redlegs on the day will be Jarrett Ross, recently called up from AAA. Take a look at the Pirates order 1-2-9 that he'll be facing, while the only man to starter for them will be the son of a Priester man, Quinn Priester, making his 15th start here in the big leagues. Take a look at the Reds order 1-2-9. We'll start things off the bottom half of the first inning. Elly De La Cruz at the dish, and he's going out left center field, gapping opposite way, rolling up against the wall. That is an easy double. He's not stopping there, though. He's heading into third base, sliding around the tag. Elly De La Cruz with a one-out double here in the first inning, immediately putting himself 90 feet away from scoring, and Tyler Stevenson would easily drive him in. It's a ball to deep center field, caught at right in front of the track by Reynolds, and it easily tags up De La Cruz to make it a 1-0 Cincinnati lead early on in this game. Then it brings up J.D. Martinez, who hits a ball into left field over the head of Ke'Bryan Hayes, and that's a base knock to keep the inning alive. Then it brings up Pavin Smith, who connects on one, and this one, if it stays fair, it is gone. And what do you know it? It hits off the foul pole. A 2-run blast for Pavin Smith as he gets to start the first base and powers it for a 2-run blast here in the first inning. It's a 3-0 lead here for Cincinnati. They take that into the top of the second where O'Neal Cruz got the bat started for the Buccos, launches one into right center field off the wall. Easy 2-bagger for the fleet-footed Cruz. So he's in scoring position, brings up Kanan Smith-Njigba, who grounds at the first base. Smith steps on the bag, but Cruz does move up to third, and then Michael Chavis would go down swinging for out number 2. Ross picks up his first major league strikeout on that one, and then he would clutch up and strike out Josh Van Meter as well as he strands Cruz at third base and keeps the 3-0 lead intact. So top of the third, loses the strike zone to Jack Sawinski. He'll draw a base on ball, take first base. Now it's Henry Davis at the dish, grounds one over to third. Ellie De La Cruz goes to second, cannot double him up though, so Davis on first reaches on the fielder's choice, and then a ball going to be lined past De La Cruz at third base by Ke'Bryan Hayes. That's going to be a double for him. Runner moves up into third, and Sawinski, so now 2 runners in scoring position here. A fly out from former Red TJ Friedel into left field. That'll score a runner from third and make it a 3-1 ball game here, but then Ross does clutch up and get Brian Reynolds to pop up into foul territory to end the top half of the third. Move things on to the bottom half of the frame where J.D. Martinez continues to be an absolute menace in this Cincinnati lineup. Blasts one left center field. It is now a 4-1 lead as it's not going well for the son of the Priester man here for the Buccos. Move things on top of the first. Pavin Smith knocks down that ground ball, but Cruz does have himself an infield single. Then it brings up Smith-Njigba, who hits one out to left center field. That's going to get down into the gap, and it's going to score Cruz all the way from first base. Kanan Smith-Njigba, RBI double, makes it a 4-2 ball game. Move things on top of the fifth. Line drive over to De La Cruz, hits off his glove and bounces into foul territory, so it's going to be an infield single from TJ Friedel. Then it brings up Brian Reynolds, who's going to pepper one off the left field wall. Second and third now with one out here for the Buccos, as that'll be the end of Jarrett Ross's day. His major league debut comes to an end, and another youngster in DeAndre Foster will enter the game out of the arm barn. So with 2 in scoring position, he's going to be able to give up a single here into right center, but it's going to be a decently fast runner, so it's Smith-Njigba again trying to go for second, but instead he's gunned down at that base, but he does score 2 to tie the game. But then Adrian Merced immediately goes and puts the Reds back on top. Bottom of the fifth, launches one, no doubt shot into the left field seats, makes it a 5-4 lead now here for Cincinnati. But then in the top of the sixth, DeAndre Foster still on, plunks the leadoff man in Chavis, and then Josh Van Meter blasts one all the way back to Pittsburgh. A 2-run shot, and now the Buccos are on top. Clear the deck, his 5th home run of the season. Puts his team on top, and that'll end Foster's day as Seth Elledge now comes in out of the bullpen here, recently called up from AAA, and he's going to give up a no-doubt home run as well. That's Henry Davis, the no batting gloves catcher, the a potential prospect. Solo shot makes it a 2-run lead now as it's a 7-5 ball game, and Sam Howard, the lefty, enters for the Pirates out of the bullpen here in the 7th inning. And with 1 out, it's Taylor Walls going opposite way, lands in front of Sawinski. That's a base knock, so Walls on first base, brings up Merced now. He gets plunked on the arm guard, so now first and second here with 1 out for Cincinnati. Brings up De La Cruz, and he rips the ball down the left field line into the corner. That's going to score a run and make it a 7-6 ball game on the RBI double. So now 2 in scoring position. Blake Cederline now comes out of the pen here for the 35th time for Pittsburgh. And facing Tyler Stevenson, grounds one out to second base. That's an out for the second, but it does come in to tie the game at 7. And then unfortunately, J.D. Martinez would ground out as well. So the game remains tied here heading into the top of the 8th inning. where the Reds brought on the sheriff, Andrew Chafin, entering for the 21st time this season, and with a runner on first base, gets the 4-3 double play as India steps on the bag and fires over to first, and then Chafin will get another ground ball as De La Cruz makes the backhanded stab, fires across the diamond, scoreless frame for Chafin. Bottom of the fifth, Pavin Smith trying to go yard for the second time this game, sends it to deep center field. Brian Reynolds gives it a leap and brings it back into the park, saves the go-ahead home run here in the bottom of the eighth. Just an absolutely absurd play from the star center fielder for the Buccos. Take a look on the StatCast replay here. Reynolds, just incredible play here to bring it back into the ballpark. So still 7-7 as we move things on to the top of the 10th, where Lucas Sims comes on for the Reds. Runner on second base is the zombie runner, and for whatever reason, Friedel tries to steal third and immediately gets gunned down, so they lose their base runner. 1 out, then it's a pop-up from Reynolds into right field for 2 outs, and then Sims would get out of the inning by getting O'Neal Cruz to fly out to center field. So 1-2-3 there for the Buccos. Move things on, bottom of the 10th, 1 out. Tyler Stevenson bloops one in front of Sawinski, and rounding third and heading home is the runner, and he is not going to make it. Merced is gunned down by Sawinski's throw, so a 7-7 game, but it doesn't matter as J.D. Martinez delivers again. Call him a mailman at this point. A 2-run shot, his second home run of the game, wins it, a walk-off shot, his 22nd of the season, as the Reds walk this one off in extra innings by a score of 9-7 over this Pittsburgh Pirates team. Of course, J.D. Martinez gets player of the game honors for his 2 home runs on the day. Ellie De La Cruz had a triple and a double on the day as well. Adrian Merced and Pavin Smith also had home runs, while Jarrett Ross in his major league debut goes 4 1/3, gives up 7 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. And now before we move on to the next game, it is time to go over a few things. The first being that we are now into very late June here in the season, and we're about to take on the Cubs here at home. As we know, they are a complete wagon of a baseball team. Doubt we ever catch up to them in the standings, but we are trying to fight for our lives here to make a wild card spot. And then some more stat updates. Robbie Grossman and Brian Anderson continue to be disappointing here for the Redlegs. Both of them on cold streaks. OPS is in the low 700s, low 700s, like high 600s range. Not great at all for either of them. While who has been great, Taylor Walls. I thought 793 OPS was as high as it would get for him. He now has his OPS into the 800s, which is just absurd for Taylor Walls. And then we're going to be making another lineup update as Joe Adell will now be playing left field instead of Robbie Grossman as the everyday left fielder. And then not a transaction here in the big leagues, but down in the minor leagues, Ethan Small has been not great in AAA this season, so we're just going to send him down to AA, see if we can get him jump-started down there. And then coming up to the AAA level is going to be Chase Petty. He's been solid in 85 1/3 innings pitched down in AAA or AA, so now he's going to come up to Louisville and see if he can continue pitching well, one step below the major leagues. And we already know what the Cubs roster looks like, how good of a team they are, but we don't know that their whole team essentially is hitting well, which would make sense because they are playing very well. If you take a look at their stats here, as you can see, this is sorted by most ABs. So first to bottom is most ABs at the top, obviously. You can see that their top 7 hitters all have an OPS above 800. Pretty insane offensive team. And then they've also got Shohei Ohtani, who's, of course, crushing the ball with a 4-digit OPS, and then he also is shoving on the mound with an ERA and a FIP in the 2s through 111 1/3 innings pitched here in 2024 rather. So once again, here at Great American Ballpark, it is an NL Central matchup. This time it's the Chicago Cubs in town, the 60-game winners, just running away with the division at this point. And on the hill for the Reds will be the left-hander Brandon Williamson out of TCU, making his 17th start. And it'll be Justin Steele making his 7th start on the hill for the Cubs. Was in the bullpen previously. There you have the lineup that he'll be facing on the day of the Reds. We'll start things off top half of the second inning where Brennan Davis is going to ground into a 4-6-3 to end the inning. So scoreless game is taken into the bottom of the second, where Jonathan India is going to bloop one over the head of the third baseman down into the left field corner. The fleet-footed India has himself a double here with one out. Then it brings up Nick Senzel, who crushes lefties, and he continues to do that here. Rips one into left center field, scores. India easily puts the Reds on top 1-0. Next batter up would be Brian Anderson, as he also goes into that left field corner just like India. The fleet-footed Senzel scores from second. It's now a 2-0 lead here for Cincinnati. They take that into the top of the third, where David Bodie rips the ball into the right side of the outfield, lands in front of Anderson, base knock to lead off the inning. Next batter up is Seiya Suzuki. Or no, this is Alfonso Rivas, as he hits one into right center field. That one's going to be over the fence. Merced gave it a leap, but Rivas hits his third home run of the season, ties the game here at 2, and then Williamson gives up one of the more extraordinary things I've seen in this game, a Nick Madrigal wall scraper home run. 3-2 now for the Cubs as they take the lead, his second bomb of the season. Move things on to the bottom of the third now, where Adrian Merced draws a walk to lead off the inning. And then it would be Elly De La Cruz who comes up, smacks one out into right field. So back-to-back base runners here to start off the inning for the Cincinnati. And now brings up Tyler Stevenson, who flies one into right center field. And Brennan Davis makes the catch in deep in the gap. Tags up the runner to third base. So runners on the corners here as J.D. Martinez does it again. 3-run blast puts the Reds back up on top. Just continues to hit. I mean, he is just a professional hitter through and through. Does it again, his 25th here on the season, makes it a 5-3 Cincinnati lead. Move things on, bottom of the fourth, where Austin Barnes bloops one into right field. Suzuki gives it a dive, cannot make the play. It gets past him up against the wall, and Austin Barnes, of all people, has himself a triple here with one out. So he's on third base, brings up Taylor Walls, and he rips one into left center field, and the OPS showing itself. A blast for Taylor Walls, him and Madrigal going yard in the same game. His is a 2-run shot that extends this Reds lead to make it a 7-3 ball game, and they were not done there. Alec Mills comes on here for the Cubs. Chopper from De La Cruz up the middle, gets through the infield for a base knock to keep the inning alive. Then it's Tyler Stevenson at the dish as De La Cruz goes and swipes second without a throw. 3-1 count to Stevenson, spits on ball 4, so now first and second here with 2 outs for the Red Legs. Brings up J.D. Martinez, and he hits once again, grabs one through the left side. That'll score De La Cruz from second base, makes it an 8-3 lead here for the Reds, but unfortunately Jonathan India would not be able to hold up as he goes down swinging with runners on the corner. So 8-3, that lead is taken into the top of the fifth, where David Bodie goes down the left field line. That's going to be an easy double for him. So he's on second base. Or I shouldn't say easy, because it almost got him there on the throw, but he does get in there to second base. Then a chopper out to second moves him up 90 feet from Rivas. So now runner on third, 1 out, brings up Nico Horner, who pops one up into shallow center field, and for whatever reason, the runner from third thinks he can score. Merced, not the strongest arm, but also not very deep in the outfield, as he is gunned down at the plate by Merced. 8-3 remains the score. Move things on, bottom of the sixth, Taylor Walls goes out to left center field again. This one gets down into the gap. Easy 2-bagger for the fleet-footed Walls. And then it brings up Adrian Merced, who just pokes one out into right center, lands in, scores Walls easily. An RBI single makes it a 9-3 lead. That would pretty much wrap things up. The Reds do tack on a couple more runs as they win this game by a score of 11-3 here over the Cubs at Great American Ballpark. They defend their home field. Probably lost the series, I believe, but they do get this game here at home. 15 total hits, 11 runs on the day. J.D. Martinez, player of the game once again, 2 for 3 with a home run and 4 runs driven in. Brandon Williamson rebounded from the poor start to the game, ended up pitching 5 2/3 solid, only gave up 7 hits, struck out 2, 1 walk, 3 earned runs, gets the win on the day. while Taylor Walls had a double and a home run. Austin Barnes had a triple and a double. Jonathan India had 2 doubles. Just an offensive explosion from the Reds on the day. And now how about we take on the Cubs again, but this time we travel out to the friendly confines of Wrigley Field as we take on the Chicago Cubs in another matchup against them. Hunter Greene making his 18th start here for the Reds, and opposing him will be their ace Shohei Ohtani making his 19th start here for the Cubbies. Take a look at the Reds lineup he will be facing on the day, listed 1 to 9. We'll start things off here in the bottom half of the first. Runner on first. Chopper back to Greene, hits him in the face, rebounds to throw out the runner at first, but he does have to come out of the game. Fortunately, it was not serious, but he did have to come out of this game, so coming on to save the day to try to get some length here out of the arm barn is the lefty Ryan Weathers, making his 41st appearance here on the season. And he would proceed to immediately just get Patrick Wisdom to go down swinging on the circle change, as it's a scoreless first inning for both teams. Move things on top of the second now. J.D. Martinez, even he can hit off Shohei Ohtani, goes off the ivy in left field here. A lead-off double for Martinez, but unfortunately, nobody else can hit off Ohtani. Pavin Smith whiffs through the slider at the feet there. Then it brings up India, just cannot catch up to the 99-mile-an-hour cheese. And then it would be Joe Adell with a full count. Flies one out to right field, but it is caught on the run by Suzuki. Move things on to the top of the fourth, or the bottom of the second rather, where Wilson Contreras lines the ball over to Pavin Smith, lays out, makes the catch for the line out. Now we're on to the top of the fourth, where Tyler Stevenson strikes out for out number 2, and then J.D. Martinez gets got this time by Ohtani, just gets fooled by the slider. 2 strikeouts to the inning for Ohtani. Just could not see the ball out of the hand of Ohtani on the day as he was dicing up the Reds' bats. So now Ryan Weathers starting off the 5th inning here with a walk. It's David Bodie getting on first base. Then Alfonso Rivas grounds one over to De La Cruz. A 5-4-3 double play started by a fantastic diving play from the young third baseman. As we move things on to the top of the 6th, where Adrian Merced chops one up the middle, but the sure-handed shortstop Nico Horner makes the nice play to end the inning, as still nothing going for the Reds' bats. Move things on bottom of the 6th, where Horner then lays down a bunt that gets past De La Cruz, and he gets the leadoff man on. So then it brings up Madrigal, who strokes one out to left field, and Adell just takes a terrible route to this ball, but luckily the runners thought he would catch it, so they only move up 90 feet. So first and second here, that'll end Weathers' day, as Alex Reyes now comes out of the bullpen here for Cincinnati. And he would proceed to work a ground ball to right side of the infield. India only has a play at first, makes it second and third with 1 out, and they would intentionally walk Patrick Wisdom as he loads the bases to set up the force at any bag here with 1 out. But Wilson Contreras works a full count and then bloops one into right field. That's going to score 2, even with the arm of Anderson in right field. Makes it a 2-0 Cubs lead here, and then Reyes gets the ground ball he was looking for. 1 batter too late around the horn to end the inning, but not before the Cubs take a 2-0 lead. Top of the 8th now, as the Reds' bats finally do something here, as India drives one out to center field over the head of Brennan Davis, up against the ivy, skips up over his head, and India has himself a 1-out triple. They then try the squeeze play, but instead the bunt cannot be laid down, and India is dead meat at the dish. So nothing going there, as then Adell just gets caught looking on a perfect place fastball there on the down and away corner. Nothing he could do, as Ohtani just keeps shoving. Move things on top of the 9th. Ohtani plunks Anderson to lead off the inning, and the Cubs just won't mess around as they'll take him out right then and there. Does not get the chance for the complete game shutout. Instead, it's Cody Hoyer coming in out of the bullpen, and he would be facing Taylor Walls with Anderson on first, and Walls just cannot pull the trigger on that pitch, goes down looking. Then it brings up Merced, lines one over to the third base side in foul territory, making the diving catch is Patrick Wisdom for out number 2, and then Ellie De La Cruz just cannot hold up on that filthy slider, and Ohtani does get the win, Hoyer gets the save, and the Cubs just completely shut down this Reds order. 2-0 is your final here at Wrigley Field. As you would think, Shohei Ohtani gets player of the game honors, pitched 8 very strong innings on the day, only gave up 4 hits, struck out 7 Reds batters on the day, no earned runs, no walks. Ryan Weathers did give the Reds a solid 4 1/3 out of the bullpen. 2 hits, 4 strikeouts, did walk 3 guys though, and give up the 2 runs that ultimately were the only runs given up in the entire game. JD Martinez had a double, Jonathan India had a triple. Each team had 4 hits. It was just really, Ohtani was the difference. He dominated us. We weren't able to get anything. They were able to have that 1 inning. So with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here for this edition of the Cincinnati Reds franchise here on MLB The Show 22. I've been your host, Jersey Born, and I am saying, Tony Kelly, all-time bozo.